I am Crypto Kip, and I am flying solo today. We got a good video for you, though. We got a lot to talk about. The founder of Terra Luna Do Kwon may potentially, rumor fellas, has been taken into custody. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about some of the SEC FUD going on right now. Gary Gensler's really going in on this, but he really doesn't have any regulations that he's pointing to. He's trying to get everybody to comply with these laws that basically don't exist. So Coinbase CEO is speaking out. We'll talk a little bit about that. And now the thumbnail, right? Big lies. There are big lies going on right now with the banks. You hear everybody saying the banks are fine. The banks are fine. I'm really curious right now. Are the banks fine? We've clearly seen some banks collapse. And I got to look at some of the comments that are being made about the banks here. Obviously people were blaming crypto for some of these failed banks, but I think there's a lot more to it. So let's talk a little bit about that, and of obviously the price action for Bitcoin. A quick little update for you guys on CRO as well. Found a new channel, a new line I drew out on a chart I want to share with you guys, and also a quick Loaded Lions update. More coming from the Loaded Lions NFT team. So quite a bit to get into. Thanks for joining us. Richard, Texas, Benny Blue Eyes. We got the crew. Let's get into it, fellas. Smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get after it. So I got some dogs barking. Forgive me, folks. They'll quiet down. But we got a market cap at $1.18 trillion right now. And Bitcoin dominance is so strong. And really, folks, if you've been watching this channel, you've seen that this is exactly what we expected to happen. Bitcoin dominance, honestly, could still continue to go even higher than this. It would not surprise us really at all. Looking at Bitcoin right now, it is up 13% over the last 7 days, which is incredible, at $28,200. Ethereum coming in at $1,800. Really, these are two of the biggest gainers right now. XRP had a really big move. Why? Well, the SEC case is trying to come to a close. We talked a little bit about that one on our last live stream. Cardano making some big moves right now. Dogecoin having a rally. And then looking down to our good old friend CRO, not doing as well. Well, I think I found out why. I'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the CRO chart. I really think there's a reason for it, and I'm still extremely bullish on the coin, guys. Sterling, welcome, guys. Get in there, smash up the like. Let's talk a little bit about it. Throw your questions at me, guys. I do want to answer any questions you guys have if I know the answer. If I don't, I'll let you know that as well. But I'll give you an idea of some of these stories I'm looking at and how I'm feeling about the markets today. So first off, we've had some volatility. I think we can all agree we've had a lot of volatility. Well, why? It's something that we talked about a lot on this channel as well, which is it's all about these liquidations. You look at how many millions of dollars are getting liquidated by greedy leverage traders out there. Now, folks, leverage trading is a fantastic tool to grow your wealth. There's no doubt about it. Unfortunately, it is also a detriment to some people's portfolios. And so if you are leverage trading out there, please use very low leverage. You long the bottom and you short the top of channels. So you got to keep an eye out for some of these channels. And if you're looking for some of these trades, over time, we're going to be adding more and more technical analysis into our private Discord for any of the members out there. So keep an eye out for that, folks. But the reason Bitcoin shot up, I mean, look back to January. This was January. Why did Bitcoin shoot up in January? Look, $500 million were liquidated on shorts in January. Now, we didn't quite have a 1 day of $500 million of liquidations here in the last month, but we did have several days in a row of 200 million. You had 200 million. You had, another 100 million. You have millions and millions of dollars on both sides getting liquidated, which is extremely interesting. One of the biggest catalysts, though, we got to talk about, and we'll talk more about the banks here and the lies that they're talking about right now is going on about the banks. But one of the biggest reasons we're moving up is because people are choosing to opt out of the banking system over time, right? It used to be if you're not in the bank, I guess you had gold. Well, now you got digital gold, and it's actually called Bitcoin, and it's better than gold. And you think about that, guys. Gold has a $12 trillion market cap. Bitcoin's got a $500 billion market cap. If Bitcoin was to catch up to gold, then you would be looking at an easy $100, $200, $300, $500,000 Bitcoin. And you even have the CTO, the ex-CTO of Coinbase coming out and talking about how he thinks that Bitcoin could go to $1 million in 90 days. That's been being talked about on Twitter. Now, we don't subscribe to that on the channel. We don't believe that it can happen in 90 days on the channel. I guess I shouldn't say don't believe that it can happen. It could happen. It could absolutely happen. I just don't think that it will happen. I don't think that it's likely. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section on that. And please throw some questions at me, folks. Want to keep a dialogue with the fam out there today. But where are we at here? Well, note that the fear and greed index is at 57, and we are a little less greedy. And so there's a little more fear, which might give us a little more room to go up a little bit. Yesterday we were at 62. Last month we were at 60. So this is interesting to see where we're at. We definitely have room to get into the green. And I will note this, guys. Fear and greed index, not a tool that you want to base a trade off of, but it is it's a tool in the toolbox, if you will. And it's very interesting to keep an eye on this. I'll tell you this, though, in the bull market, when everything is taken off and Bitcoin hits $100,000 and everything starts to fly in a hurry and CRO blasts off, hits the dollar, breaks through, I will not be surprised to see this thing stay in the green for months on end and see greed all the way up in the 70s and the 80s on a consistent basis. So keep an eye on that, guys. But, there's a little bit of fear out in the market right now. So first, I'm going to take a peek here at Bitcoin. So very crazy. Now, tooting the horn here, I guess, but what we were talking about is some of these key channels that we drew months ago, right? So we've been talking about these for months now. Here was your FTX collapse. We called bottom on Bitcoin. So far, so good. Smash up the like button, guys. If you bought during this time, if you were buying right here, folks, I am so happy for you because you probably made, at least on the bags that you bought, that you made 70% on your money. So pat yourselves on the back. And even if you bought halfway up, you wanted to see, hey, okay, maybe it tested here again and you bought the bottom of this channel. Well, congratulations. You still had an opportunity to make 43%. So if you're here during these bear markets and you're accumulating these crypto assets during the time of fear, you should be happy and you should be making some good money right now. But one thing we've been talking about here on the channel is some of these lines we drew out on the chart. Now, we were in Bitcoin, came to the bottom, hit the top of this channel, came back down, broke out above it. We saw the Fed rate hike is basically this candle. These are the daily candles. What you see here is this is the Fed rate hike. Now, Fed Chair Jerome Powell raised the interest rates by 0.25%. And folks, there really wasn't anything that Fed Chair Jerome Powell could do that would have made him had an easy decision. There was no easy decision for him. He chose to raise the rates. Why? Because inflation definitely needs to be crushed. Other people say no way Fed Chair Powell should have raised the rates because now banks are going to fail. Again, we're going to talk more about banks in a minute. So this caused, guys, this big red candle and almost to the T. And maybe my line's drawn a little bit off. I could move it slightly and boom, it actually looks perfect, right? Because it hits the top of this candle and the bottom of that. And you can see it bounced perfectly off this and moved straight back up. And we're taking another shot at $30,000, which is spectacular to see, folks. And after $30,000, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of this going on, right? A little bit of this sideways action. Like if I were to draw out what I see happening here, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of got up into this 30,000 range, kind of broke a little bit above it, came back down, tested, a little bit of up above again, tic-tac-toe, and then started to kind of make its way back up probably to these $40,000 levels. So that's something we might see. Kind of, you can see a nice little shape here, a perfect little bull pattern. So we're going to keep an eye on that, guys. I would not be surprised to see a move like that. But no, anything is possible. These lines are here, so you got to keep an eye on all these levels. But if you're looking to take a long, hey, this is probably not the best time. You're kind of in the middle of two channels right now, so that might not be ideal. Maybe you want to short off 30K, to be honest, and then close it out as it kind of gets back down to these levels. take along if it hits this white line again at $27,000-ish. So these are some of the things that we look at in terms of trading. And these lines have worked really, really well for us so far. So that's something we're peeking at. Another thing everybody needs to keep into consideration is the overall market cap for crypto. Pretty important to keep an eye on what's going on with that right now. So yesterday, I think in the last 2 days, I was talking about the Fed rate hike. We kind of tested this $1.18 trillion level for crypto, which was very interesting. And we just totally rejected off of it. And then psych, we actually came right back up, just like Bitcoin bounced off this white line here. The overall market cap came back down and is moving back up towards this $1.18 trillion level. If we can break above this, I do expect to see a move close to the $1.34 trillion level for crypto overall, which would be spectacular. That would be about a 13% move for the crypto market overall, which is going to be roughly $150 billion. So if you get $150 billion flowing into crypto, you know, Bitcoin dominance is at right now 46%, then you're going to see, you know, about 50 billion, 60, 70 billion flow into Bitcoin. And then the rest is going to be spread out amongst some of the top altcoins, most likely. And maybe some of these smaller alts get a big move, right? I like to focus right now where we're at in the cycle. I expect Bitcoin dominance to keep climbing up. I am focusing, guys. We've been talking a lot about this. I've been focusing on buying my Bitcoin right now. I got a huge bag of CRO coin. I'm so excited for the bull market. Of course, I got Bitcoin, but I want more Bitcoin because I think Bitcoin's kind of going to have its fun. So, you know, this is something we're looking at. By the way, guys, I fixed my internet. I fixed my streaming. We had some serious lagging action going on in some of these previous streams. So my apologies, but let me know in the comments, is the lag gone? Did I fix the lag? I got to know, fam. Smash up the like button too if the lag's gone. I think we solved it once and for all. So that's good to see. Richard Merrill saying so many people are going to regret not getting into crypto. Absolutely, Richard. Even now, it is still a perfect time to get in early. We are all going to be smiling in the next bull run. Richard, I couldn't agree more. You know, I mean, looking at CRO coin alone, when it gets back to $1 and you're buying it at 6 cents, well, good for you. You got a 20x ahead of you just to get to a previous all-time high. And when crypto moves, you typically see it break past its previous all-time highs. Really, that's how it goes. And here's another thing. I'm gonna drive home your point, Richard. We'll all be smiling in the next bull run, absolutely, because if you look at the previous two bull markets, right? Here was one, and here was the one in 2018. The overall market cap for crypto was at $749 billion at its peak in the 2017-2018 bull run, and then it went up to $3 trillion, okay? It went up to $3 trillion, which is a 292% gain from the previous high. So if we take a similar move on the overall market cap, then we are looking, and look at the line I have drawn right here, guys. Boom. We are looking at an easy 218% move to get to $10 trillion market cap for crypto overall. If $10 trillion is in crypto, then that means we have an additional $7 trillion that are flowing into the crypto markets. And for a coin like CRO, which is currently at a $1.7 billion market cap, if $7 trillion flow into the crypto markets, a coin like CRO, there is no reason that this thing could not only break above the previous resistance at $1, but take its move and make a move up here to the $3, possibly to the $5 or $10 range, right? If we're talking about trillions of dollars flowing into crypto, Crypto.com is the top exchange. I'm very bullish on this coin. I'm really bullish on crypto overall. So Richard, you know, I totally agree with you. Anybody who's not in on crypto right now is going to be kicking themselves. And really, Richard, here's a great point too. FOMO. Why do we talk about FOMO so much in crypto? Well, because that's what happens. That's what you see right here. And let me go over to Bitcoin again. So even look at a Bitcoin bull run. If you're buying here and you're selling here, well, congratulations, you're making boatloads of money. But if you're buying here and you're FOMOing in here and you're FOMOing in here, well, then you're getting wrecked here and you might sell and you might break even or actually lose money. But if you're buying the bottom, which is very arguably where we are right now, this is arguably this, right, guys? So that's something we're looking at here. these are the times to be buying. You do not want to be buying when the FOMO kicks in, but the FOMO will kick in, and the people that aren't buying right now will FOMO. A lot of people will FOMO. You will see it. The media will get all excited about crypto again. The FUD will slowly dissipate. There'll still be FUD. I think we have an eternal lifetime of FUD until crypto completely takes over, which I don't think it's ever going to completely take over, but I do think it's going to start to dominate, and I think people are going to start to bank with themselves and bank with crypto over time. But these are some of the things that we're really thinking about. Sterling Lee's asking, any thoughts on Fulcrum Finance? I think it's a fantastic app. I wish they would add more trading pairs. It's an interesting looking leverage trading platform. I haven't used it yet, but it does look very, very cool. I see a lot of people using that and having a lot of success. Shout out to Alpha. He is a crypto influencer as well on Twitter. He's got an awesome space. Check him out. I think it's Island Thunder is his tag. But he does a really great space. He talks about some of the leverage trading he does as well. But yeah, I feel pretty good. Richard, we're going to talk a little bit about Coinbase as well here in the stream. And Benny Blue Eyes is asking me for a peak bull market prediction. Well, I'll tell you this, Benny. That's a great question. I'm gonna do Bitcoin and crypto market cap overall. I hope that's fair. So for Bitcoin, here's the deal. Benny, it's a good question. We'll revisit this question, almost every stream, really. It's a moving target, right? But you got to set some ideas in your head to start taking profit. I'll tell you guys, I'm looking to take profit before Bitcoin goes to $100,000. Now, don't freak out. I'm not saying I'm selling. I'm not saying I don't have diamond hands. But part of making money in crypto is taking profit on the way up. So me and a buddy of mine, we like to call it tranches. So I'm looking for tranches, levels, prices on Bitcoin, on Crocoin, where I'm going to take profit on the way up. Before $100,000, so maybe at the previous all-time high, I'm going to take a little bit of money off the table, just to be sure, right? Because we might have a little bounce. Maybe I can buy back in. Again, this is 1 to 5% of my stack, right? We're going to be taking off when we get to previous all-time highs for Bitcoin. Before we get to $100,000, maybe at 85, 90,000, I'm going to be taking a little bit more, maybe 1 to 5% off the table. But where are we going to go overall? Well, I want to take profits on the way up for sure. But honestly, guys, if banks are failing, which banks are starting to fail, and trillions of dollars are going to flow into the crypto markets, there's a chance not only could we hit this $10 trillion level, there's a chance if banks start to fail that we could hit something crazy, right? You think of Bitcoin flipping gold. Well, gold's a $12 trillion market cap. I would argue that Bitcoin alone could get to a $12 trillion market cap. So let's just think about it this way. If Bitcoin has 46% dominance in the market and Bitcoin gets to a $12 trillion market cap, well, then it's possible we could be seeing, and I'll just draw it out now. You just manifest it into the chart, Benny, a $24 trillion market cap roughly, right? That could be possible. Could we actually get in the overall market for crypto 1,000, almost 2,000% gain? It's possible, but there's a couple things that need to happen. One, crypto regulation needs to happen. We need to get past it. The fear of crypto regulation, we need to get past that. Two, there needs to be more fear from the banks, right? We're tired of the banks playing the games. Banks are collapsing. Banks are giving each other money. We'll talk more about that here in a second. To just try to keep each other alive. They're trying to play their own game. Well, for those of us that are tired of the game, and increasingly so, as social media and YouTube, right, is spreading awareness of how to invest, right? And this isn't financial advice. But as people are learning through social media, through peers, through independent media, through independent reporting, right, about the benefits of crypto, about the benefits of vitamin D, right, about the benefits of really anything out there that might go against mainstream science, mainstream finance, people are learning that there's a lot of great things out there, one of them being Bitcoin over the banks. And so people are starting to learn, people are starting to opt out. I think a $24 trillion market cap could be possible for Bitcoin in the next, crypto in the next bull market, not Bitcoin. I mean, it's possible. I don't think it's likely. But let's just say we get the $12 trillion market cap for Bitcoin in the next bull market. Well, then we start talking about, I can't even scroll that high. Really, I would say you could start looking at a $400,000 Bitcoin at that point, right? People are calling for $1 million Bitcoin in the next 9 months. Now, I don't subscribe to that, but I think $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 Bitcoin in the next bull market could certainly be possible. If Bitcoin takes the market cap of gold, gets a $12 trillion market cap, then you start looking at prices like that becoming possible. I went in on that for you, Benny. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, I mean, kindly, I see you saying yes, DCA weekly, absolutely. Somebody saying Crow's going up a little bit. You know, Crow's not really going up too much, unfortunately. I got a big old bag of Crow. Trust me, I want it to go up. But let's talk a little bit about Crow now that you're talking about Crow in the chat. So here's the deal. Here's the deal, folks. I want to speak truths with you. You know, Crow is having a tough time getting its legs, but it's not alone. A lot of crypto projects are having a tough time against Bitcoin. They're having a tough time. Bitcoin dominance is shooting up, so altcoins are struggling. Now, Bitcoin's moving up. And if this was the Bitcoin chart, you know, you'd see it right here, right? I mean, here's some of the previous falling points for Crow. Bitcoin's already back up and kind of redeeming itself, trying to get back up to its $30,000. Crow is not doing that yet. Why? Because Bitcoin's having its time and Crow is having a tough time breaking above this line here I drew out for you guys. We had a really nice wick the other day. Really nice wick the other day where we hit up to almost 10 cents and then we came melting right back down and we're right back below this band. So guys, I'll be honest with you. This channel here that I have drawn, this kind of triangle shape, this thing ends in May. So either one of two things happens. One of three things could happen, right? We could break out of this thing ahead of time, which would be fantastic. Everybody wants to see Crow go up. Everybody wants to see their altcoins go up, no matter whether it's Crow, Cardano, whatever it is, right? But I do believe that for Crow specifically, we're going to see it continue to kind of move potentially down, hopefully not to its previous lows. There's a chance, guys, that we could kind of come into this, and then if we hit the end of this point, we could either break down from here, which we wouldn't want to see, or we could break up immediately and then start making our way back up to the 8 cents level and then moving back to fair value at 12 cents. I hope, guys, that we can just break right above this and break right up towards the 12-cent level soon, which is certainly possible. If Bitcoin really starts to move and crypto starts to make its move up to this $1.34 trillion line, this green line here, and billions of dollars flow into crypto, then I would hope to see a coin like Crow break out of this and just totally redeem itself away from this blue line. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. That is one thing that I'm looking at. Colonel Edwards says next week Crow at 12 cents. I sure hope so, Colonel Edwin. You know, I've got all my Crows set up in the crypto.com DeFi wallet, earning me good interest. And if Crow coin goes up, well, then my interest goes up in a big way. So that's something I'm looking for. Very excited to see if Crow can go back up that way. So let's get into some of the stories, guys. We talked a little bit about the prices, but let's get into some of the stories. So the Fed raised the interest rates again. And the banks now are going to have more issues on account of that. People are speculating. One of the reasons that the banks are having trouble right now is because the Feds were raising the interest rate, and basically they had to sell some of these treasury notes that they were buying at a loss to try to avoid a bank run that would make them collapse. Now, some of them didn't make it. Some of them got money from other folks out there, other banks, and they're trying to prop themselves up in the industry, which is very interesting. But I do believe that the Fed has caused more issues. Ongoing problems are coming for the banking system because of this rate hike. He had to do it because of inflation. But I do think that this is going to cause more problems with the banking system. And now this is just unbelievable, folks. I saw this article and I literally, by myself here, I laughed out loud so hard when I saw this story. What really broke the banks? The Fed, among others, is blameworthy, but the ultimate culprit is COVID-19. No. I'm sorry. No, that's not it. The truth is that the banks weren't really operating the way that they should. Now, some of the banks that are operating in a decent way, I guess you could say, they're still operational. They're the ones that are lending out money to the failing banks, but the failing banks are failing because they're failures. Sorry. You know, that's what it is. The banks are failing because the banks are failing. You know, FDIC is a thing, right? But it doesn't cover all the money. And also note that the banks, if everybody went to go get their money out of the banks right now, all the banks would fail. They don't have all the money if everybody went to go get their money, they don't have to have all that money in the bank. That is not something they're legally required to do, which is so silly because crypto exchanges are being held to a certain standard that banks aren't. It's ridiculous. It's absolute trash. Another thing you got to keep in mind that people are saying now, SVB employees are blaming remote work for the bank failure. Again, no. It's because the way that the banks are set up. It's because the way that SVB Bank was handling itself. And it's also, and one of the biggest things that they're not talking about here is because people were trying to spread fear about crypto. And whether you think so or not, Circle is the company that set up USDC coin, right? This is one of the biggest stable coins in the crypto market. They had $3 billion in this bank. And just like Silvergate Bank, the social media was going crazy, fearful about, oh, crypto banks better beware. Well, $3 billion, one of their largest clients for SVB was Circle, okay? You could argue there was an attack on crypto, and it actually caused the banks to collapse. Circle and USDC regained peg to $1, which is hilarious, and the bank failed. So, you know what? Keep attacking crypto, guys, because as you can see, Bitcoin's moving up. It really only makes it stronger. So as these terrible publications, Axios and The Atlantic come out with their, their conspiracy theories, their silly reasoning for why banks are collapsing. They're making an excuse for the bank. If you think for a second that politicians and banks and big bank money is not behind the messaging that's going on here, please, Atlantic, go out, alleviate the fears about our banks. Please, blame something else, blame the pandemic, right? Blame the Fed, It's not really the Fed's fault. And it's not really the pandemic's fault. It's really the bank's fault because of the way they operate, guys. That's just how it is. That is the facts. Yes. Hit the sub, guys. Smash up like. Hit the sub, guys. It really helps in the YouTube algorithm. If you love crypto, content, we're doing 5 videos every day. And by the way, we're giving away $1,000 worth of Bitcoin when we hit 10,000 subscribers on the channel. So don't miss out on that, guys. Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. I got a question in the chat from the Crypto Keeper. Hey, Kip, when the banks get totally involved in crypto, is there a chance they could purchase some of these exchanges? The banks may realize that they can't beat crypto, so buy exchanges. I'm going to give you my opinion on this. I think that no. I don't think that they will, and I'll tell you why I believe that, because I do believe that the banks see crypto exchanges as competition, and I think they're going to continue to fight the crypto exchanges. And honestly, think about it this way too. If you're a crypto exchange and you believe in the future of crypto, and you believe that this is just in its infancy still, right? If you're a crypto exchange, do you really want to sell, right, in the infancy and lose out on all the upside as a crypto exchange? If you're crypto.com and you're Chris Marszak, do you really want to sell to a JP Morgan who might just, buy you out and crush the exchange and crush the industry? Because likely these people that run these crypto exchanges, these people that work at the crypto exchanges have a lot of their money in crypto, right? I don't think that that's how that would go down. Now, I will say this. Fidelity isn't a bank per se, right? But they're a traditional finance entity. Well, they launched their trading services for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I think you're going to start to see some of that. I think you're going to see some Charles Schwabs out there, some of these platforms you can do trading, and more traditional finance are going to start to offer crypto products. But I don't expect to see banks buy out crypto exchanges. I do expect to see banks start to buy crypto, though. And I wouldn't be surprised if they offered their own crypto services. Now, maybe some really small exchanges might get acquired, maybe. But that's my thought. I mean, I hope that's an all right answer for you. I just kind of, hard to say, right? It's a hard thing to say at this point, folks, but we'll have to see on that. So those are 2 stories about banks I want to share with you. These are some of the lies, we're going to blame remote work. It's not remote work, okay? It's the bank's policies on how they're handling the money. They bought treasuries. They didn't see the inflation thing coming. And then the Fed had to do what the Fed had to do. They had to raise the interest rates to battle inflation. Then there was a bank run on SVB, and probably because politicians and banks wanted to spread fear about crypto banks, it backfired on the system. It's hilarious. It's Kind of like when you see somebody playing tetherball and they hit the tetherball as hard as they can and it swings around and just bashes them in the face. That's what happened here. I think that's a perfect little analogy for you guys. So, but interesting to see. The banks are saying this is not a credit crisis. Citigroup's saying this is not a credit crisis. Well, here's something to note. They're coming out and they're saying, this is one of the biggest banks, the banking system's pretty sound. It's pretty sound. Well, banks are collapsing, but it's pretty sound. This is what they're saying, and large and regional banks are well capitalized, is what some folks are saying out there. And of course, these are bankers that are saying this. We're fine. Everything's business as usual. Whenever you hear a company say business as usual, not a good line. Not a good line. Run. But they're trying to defend themselves. If you kind of go down and you look at more of the story here, in the past 2 weeks, 2 U.S. banks collapsed. Credit Suisse also was taken over by its Swiss rival UBS, who hated each other. But hey, UBS came together. They were actually basically forced to buy Credit Suisse, which is very interesting. And now, 11 of the largest banks in the world, I think in the U.S., put together $30 billion to save First Republic Bank. Let's see if First Republic Bank survives still. It might not. But Citigroup was one of the 11 major banks that threw a lifeline to this bank. They gave, I want to say $5 billion. Yeah. So they gave $5 billion to First Republic Bank, and they expect to be paid back. This lady came out. This is the Citigroup CEO, testified before a Senate Banking Committee and said, normally we're at each other's throats. We're trying to crush each other and we don't want each other to get good deals. Yes, here's the quote. We usually try and kill each other in different deals we're trying to do. There's capitalism for you. But in this instance, this is the one we're in a strong position. We want to stop what could have been a problem. So here's my question to you guys out in the chat. What is it? What is it? Is it that the banking system is pretty sound? Or is it that the banking system, instead of business as usual, right, usually trying to kill each other, is scrambling to try to save each other by giving them money, right? I think you're definitely seeing that the banks are struggling, and the proof is in the pudding, right? The proof is in the pudding. It's very interesting. You never hear from this person. Well, why is she coming out and speaking? Because she's trying to save face. It's a PR stunt. They are trying to save face right now. I do not know. And these efforts actually did fail to stop a 15% crash in the First Republic Bank stock. So, as banks get weaker, crypto gets stronger. And very interesting story, Do Kwon is actually looking that he got caught here in Montenegro. So in case you didn't know it, he was the founder of Terraform Labs, and he is not a good guy, right? Not a good guy. He is so rich, and he was just calling everybody who lost their money in his scheme a loser, essentially. He was saying, anybody who's crying right now is a loser and you would have lost in it. Like, that's not appropriate, and now he's potentially in custody. So interesting story. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see, if he really is held accountable. But these are the stories that we're getting now. So they're pivoting away from the banks right now. Now, here's the point I want to drive home. Here's the lie, right? Here's the big lie. Banks are fine. Banks are fine. Oh, it was the pandemic that caused the banks. Oh, it was the remote work that caused the banks. Now we're pivoting, and let's talk about Do Kwon again. And maybe this is a rumor too. Also, now they're talking about Lindsay Lohan and Jake Paul hit with an SEC charge over crypto scheme. Like, just more news, just more headlines. This is happening. This is real. But what's more important? Lindsay Lohan getting hit by the SEC for pumping a coin, or banks failing? Probably banks failing. Probably banks failing, folks. That's kind of what we're thinking here. So kind of an interesting thought I want to share with you guys as well. Back to what you were asking earlier, Benny. Where can we go for Bitcoin? Well, I'll tell you this. People are asking, can Bitcoin hit $100,000 this year? Insiders are saying cryptocurrency could test new highs this year. I'll tell you, if these banks are really having the problems that we think they're having, I would not be surprised whatsoever if Bitcoin did top $100,000 this year. Now, I don't expect it, but I really wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised at all. I do not expect it this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen. Now, the $1 million Bitcoin in 90 days, I don't subscribe to that, but a $100,000 Bitcoin this year, I could hop on board there. I could hop on board there for sure. So, kind of an interesting story. Here's some other FUD that's being spread right now. Crypto will be over in the U.S. if Coinbase loses the battle with the SEC. No, I'm going to call BS on this one. Absolutely not. And also, by the way, Coinbase ain't going anywhere, guys. Now, the SEC did just come out, and I'm going to show you some of the tweets directly from Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase here in his fight against the SEC. But Gary Gensler is just losing his mind, and I think he's going to lose the XRP case. I think that he's going to definitely lose this case against Coinbase as well. But, you know, if Coinbase loses the battle with the SEC for whatever reason, they're just going to move outside of the U.S., and I think the U.S. will lose. Crypto won't be over. Maybe the U.S. will be over, right? Because if the U.S., the United States of America, does not adopt cryptocurrency and adopt this technology and just allow this to become a thing, I think they're going to miss out. I think they're going to miss out on one of the biggest things since the internet, since the invention of the internet. And we talk a lot about that on the channel. And you do see Coinbase expanding. This is newer news. Expanding into Brazil, which is fantastic. This is a lot. They're allowing crypto purchases in Brazil. This is what you're going to see. If the U.S. really rejects, if the U.S. really shuts out and boxes out crypto, which really we don't think they're going to do, then crypto is going to move elsewhere. I mean, crypto can move across borders regardless, right? You can trade crypto with a VPN if you really, really want to. But I still think, Fidelity, right? They're still trading crypto. You don't see the SEC coming after Fidelity. Why can Fidelity offer crypto, but they have a problem with Coinbase doing it? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's a pay-to-play game. We talk about this so much on the channel. You're not part of the cool kids club or you're a newcomer to the party, then, hey, they want to crush you. And they're going to try to do it, but they're going to fail and look like idiots in the meantime. And by they, I mean Gary Gensler and the SEC. So, that's kind of what we're thinking, but... here's Brian Armstrong coming out and saying his comments here on what happened with the SEC. So there's a lot to discuss right now. This is a quote from Brian Armstrong. There's a lot to discuss right now on current crypto regulatory environment, and we want to make these conversations transparent so the whole community can get involved. He had a really great space earlier today on Twitter where there was folks talking to him a little bit about what's coming out with the SEC and what they're doing about it. And here's the main point. If the SEC wants to throw the rule book at crypto, they should have a rule book. They got a broker-dealer license, and they still are having issues from the SEC. And the SEC came out now today, and Coinbase received a Wells notice from the SEC focused on staking and asset listings. They are relentless. A Wells notice typically precedes an enforcement action. The problem is that the SEC wants to enforce laws that just don't exist. You go back to the Kraken story, and you see that they paid a $30 million fine, and Gary Gensler says all you got to do is go onto the website, fill out a simple form. That was a lie. And then Brian Armstrong goes on a huge rant here with a huge thread. 2 years ago, the SEC reviewed our business in detail and approved Coinbase to go public. And now they're coming back with all these issues. Why did this happen? Why did they change their mind? Why are they now coming back and taking a more strong position against Coinbase? Well, it seems to be because FTX collapsed, and I think they watched a bunch of companies fail, and now Gary Gensler looks bad because he didn't set regulation ahead of all this. And now he's coming in and he's just over-regulating, really. And he understands, right? He says, well, we understand this is all part of the journey in reforming our financial system. We are right on the law, confident in the facts, welcome the opportunity for Coinbase to get before the court, and he feels good going to court. So this is something we want to see. Richard Merrill, absolutely. I'm happy to answer any and all questions. Thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Nizar, good to have you in the chat. Thanks for joining us, brother. Thanks for hopping in, guys. If you're just joining us, smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell me what coins you love. Ask me some questions, guys. If you have any questions out there, I'm more than happy to answer them for you guys. We'll have a little conversation. You can see that the SEC is trending here on my Twitter in my suggested feed in a big, big way because of all this Coinbase news. Really, guys, It's all FUD. Gary Gensler's a liar. Banks are liars. You know, if you want to go to the bank and you want to pull out $100,000, they're going to ask you 10,000 questions, and you're not going to be able to pull the $100,000 out. Maybe you got to come back the next day. Maybe you got to come back in a week, or maybe you got to come back 2 to 3 times to get your $100,000 worth of money out of the bank. With crypto, all you got to do is, here is my public key. You send me some Bitcoin, and boom, I got the money. That sounds a heck of a lot better than these banks that, oh, there's a bank run. Oh, they're not holding as much money as, it says in their books, right? It's obvious, guys. It's obvious, and it's coming. And Brian feels strong. The CEO of Coinbase feels strong going towards this next bull run. Got another super chat here. The Crypto Keeper. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm happy to answer your questions. I was happy to answer your question, Crypto Keeper, and any other questions you guys got. Benny Blue Eyes, I saw you gave away another membership during our last live stream, man. You are a champion. If you guys are in these live streams and you're a part of the community, there is a chance you might get gifted a membership at any time, guys. So one of the friendliest communities. We're going to have a lot of fun. Very excited to grow our portfolios together as the channel grows and as crypto grows, as Bitcoin goes $100,000 and further. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we want to get back to the community as well. We're giving away a loaded line. We're giving away $1,000 at 10,000 subscribers. So these are some of the things we're doing for you guys. And make sure, if you're a member, by the way, you join the private Discord where we can talk directly with one another. Proper crypto regulation needs to come from Congress. Now, as Gary Gensler and the NCC are fighting Coinbase, the truth is, guys, is we need Congress to get together. We need some actual legislative action. And the government moves so slow. It does seem to me that Republicans are a little more favorable towards crypto than Democrats right now, which is a very interesting thing to see. So I'm curious to see what the next election brings. I'm not saying I prefer one or the other in terms of political party. I have opinions on it, but I don't like to share them on the channel. But if Democrats are elected again, I'm curious to see what happens with crypto. And if Republicans are elected again, I'm curious to see if maybe it's more bullish standpoint on crypto. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But the matter of fact is that Congress, both parties need to get together and they need to figure this out. You are seeing some congressmen start talking in a bullish way about crypto, and you are seeing some congressmen talking in a bearish way. One of them, Senator Elizabeth Warren, hates crypto. She hates it, and she says that she likes to regulate the banks, but I don't really know about that. They call her the banking broad for a reason. Kind of an interesting thing with that. Nazar asked $30,000 Bitcoin by the end of March. Certainly possible, Nazar. I wouldn't count it out whatsoever. I really wouldn't count it at all. Note we are giving away a loaded line at 10,000 or 25,000 subscribers. Excuse me. So follow us at _crypto report, guys. Asking Benny, I see in the comments, you're asking what the loaded line update is. Well, here it is, folks. So if you go to the Loaded Lions Twitter and you check it out, this is what you got. Now, I don't want to get hit with a copyright claim, so I'm going to mute this, and I can't really play it. But Loaded Lions gave a little video ad, and it's kind of interesting. And so in this ad, they actually showed essentially the mansion that you're going to get. And to be honest with you, I'll be totally honest with you guys. They were asking, hey, are you excited about this? And I'm excited about the Loaded Lions. I'm excited about the main city, but this is kind of a lame ad. I don't know. It's not the best graphics, and it's a 20-second thing, and all they do is kind of cool sounds, and they zoom in on the mansion. But I am glad to see that they're doing something, and they're putting more teasers out there. You see a lot of people in the Loaded Lions Discord right now talking about you tease me, Loaded Lions, more than my girlfriend. So I was cracking up at that this morning. They are putting a lot of teasers out there, which is important to do. So good to see this, but I thought it was a little underwhelming. What were your thoughts on this ad? If you haven't checked out the ad, go to Twitter real quick, check it out. Let me know your thoughts. I think it's neat, but I think that we could use a little bit more still. And Q2 is coming up. So at the end of this month, we are officially going into Q2 starting in April. And I do think that it's going to be very interesting when the main city, when the crypto.com metaverse actually launches. Could it be next month? Could it be 2 or 3 months from now? If I had to guess, I'd say probably towards the end of Q2, but we'll have to see. I'm pretty excited about the whole thing, folks. Really. I really, really am. But yeah, we are giving away that loaded lion, guys. So if you want additional entries like Benny Blue Eyes, like Nazar, like Texas, like everybody with that beautiful color next to their name and the loyalty badge, all you got to do is join us here at the Crypto Report on our YouTube page. You get an additional 10 entries towards the Loaded Lion giveaway for every single month you're a member. We're doing 5 videos every single day for you guys, and at 10,000 subscribers, we're giving away $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Folks, that's really all I got today. I'm looking for any other questions in the chat. Overall, I am feeling pretty bullish. I'm going to scroll up here and look at some of the questions, but I am feeling really bullish, actually, on crypto. I am DCAing. I am building my bags, and I'm getting ready. I do believe that we will have 10, 20, 100,000% gains for a lot of projects in the next bull market, and we're going to continue to try to hunt those down and let you guys know exactly what we're buying. You know, me and my partner, Blacksea. Blacksea couldn't join me today. He's feeling a little under the weather. Got the sniffles, so feel better, Blacks. I don't know if you're watching this. Hopefully you're napping, but yeah, 30K Bitcoin by March. We'll have to see, guys. We will have to see. That is really all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much. Crypto Keeper, appreciate the super chat. Richard, appreciate the super chat, fellas. Thanks for the questions. That's all I got today. I'm Crypto Kip. This is the Crypto Report. Don't forget to smash up a like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, folks, you got to remember to DCA, HODL, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Tuesday for another live stream. Peace. Oh, Sterling Lee, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you, man. Best of luck. Hope you have a killer trade this week, all right? All right, guys, we're out. Peace.